So Chipotle has its sights set on Asia with a massive expansion planned for 2026. And let me tell you, this isn't just about slinging more burritos. This is a full-on masterclass in how to take a brand global. And today, we are breaking down their entire playbook.
It really makes you wonder, right? What on earth can a burrito teach us about high-stakes international business strategy? Well, it turns out, a ton. We're going to unpack the 3 secret weapons Chipotle is using to launch in Korea and Singapore, and they are packed with lessons for literally any business thinking about crossing borders.
Okay, secret number 1, it's all about building a rock-solid foundation. They're not just, dropping in blind. Chipotle is being incredibly smart, learning from the massive graveyard of Western brands that have tried and failed to conquer this exact market.
And the absolute cornerstone of this foundation is their secret weapon. See, they're not trying to do this all by themselves. They've teamed up with a local giant, South Korea's SPC Group, to help them navigate what can be a really tricky market.
And this partnership, it's a total game changer. SPC Group knows how to scale. I mean, they're the ones who brought brands like Shake Shack and Jamba Juice to the region and made them huge. This means they've already got the supply chains worked out, they know the local food safety laws inside and out. And this is huge, it just slashes the massive financial risk of trying to build everything from the ground up. What this partnership really unlocks is a completely different, much smarter way of thinking about their stores. In the US, you've got these huge company-owned locations, but in Asia, nope, they're going super nimble. We're talking tiny spots, maybe 300 to 500 square feet, right in the middle of busy city centers. It's all about being lean and efficient.
So the whole point here is that every single one of these foundational moves is designed to avoid that same fate that so many other big Western brands have faced. In fact, they specifically studied where others went wrong to build their own playbook. They basically did their homework on who failed and why. First up, Burger King. They fell into the classic standardization trap, refusing to let local teams innovate on the menu. Then you have a brand like Egg Slut, which learned the hard way that a premium price is fine at first, but it won't last if there's no real local value. And Little Caesars? They found out that being cheap means nothing if you don't have a killer online ordering and delivery game.
And that brings us perfectly to secret number 2, winning digitally. In Asia, that means you have to master one thing, and it's a big one, OMO, or Online Merge Offline. This isn't just some corporate buzzword. It is the absolute heart of their launch strategy.
So what exactly is OMO? Well, think of it this way. It's about making the journey from scrolling on your phone to walking into a Chipotle feel completely seamless. You want the digital world, your app, to smoothly guide people into the physical world, your store.
So why is this OMO thing such a big deal in Asia? I mean, just look at this number, 96%. That's the smartphone penetration across the continent. Being mobile first isn't just a nice to have there, it is absolutely essential to survive.
And here's the thing, Chipotle is already a pro at this. They're not starting from scratch. Just in 2024, their digital sales were almost $5 billion. That's nearly 40% of all their revenue. So they've got this model down cold, and they're ready to deploy it.
Okay, so here's how they're going to do it. They're shooting for a massive 70% of all orders to happen through the app. They're going to have these digital windows for super fast pickups. They'll plug right into local payment systems like Kakao Pay and GrabPay, and they'll even use AI to nudge you with personalized offers to make Chipotle a daily habit. Of course, a fancy app doesn't mean anything if people don't actually want the food, right? And this is where they're using this brilliant 80-20 rule. 80% is the core Chipotle you already know, the bowls, the burritos, the food with integrity. But that last 20%, that's where the magic is. Small, smart, local twists, like a gochujang chicken in Korea to make it feel like it belongs.
And this is maybe the smartest part of their whole food strategy. How do you make a burrito bowl feel familiar to someone in Korea? You call it a Mexican bibimbap. It just instantly clicks, right? It takes away any hesitation and makes the whole menu feel intuitive from the second you see it.
All right, time for secret number 3, and honestly, this one is my favorite. Let's talk about the K-pop effect. This is all about how you launch in a brand new country with a fan base that's already fired up and waiting for you. For Chipotle, it all started with a lucky accident.
Okay, get this. Chipotle hasn't even opened a single store in Korea yet, but they're already a huge deal. It all started back in 2022 when Jungkook from BTS accidentally mispronounced their name as Chipotle. The clip went massively viral. Then, other huge K-pop groups started talking about how obsessed they were with Chipotle. It's years of authentic, organic hype. You literally cannot buy that kind of marketing.
So the big question is, how do you turn all that viral hype into actual paying customers? Well, they have a plan. They're going to launch TikTok challenges, lean right into that viral inside joke with the hashtag Chipotle Korea, and use proven tricks like free guac offers to get a flood of people to download the app on day one.
Okay, so we've got the strategy. It sounds amazing, but how will they know if it's actually working? We need to look at the final scorecard, the metrics that will define whether this whole mission is a success.
Well, they're going to be laser-focused on 3 key numbers. First, social conversion. Are all those K-pop fans actually buying food? Second, the app-to-store ratio. Is their OMO strategy getting people off their phones and into the stores? And finally, the big one, cross-border ROI. Does all the money they make justify the cost of doing this in the first place?
And believe me, their financial goal here is, wow, it's ambitious. The average Chipotle in the US makes about $3.14 million a year. Their target for these brand new tiny stores in Asia? Over 3 million. They're aiming to be just as profitable right out of the gate. That's gutsy.
So, when you boil it all down, what's the big takeaway from Chipotle's playbook? It's that real success doesn't come from choosing between your brand identity and the local culture. The magic happens when you fuse them together. It's about being true to who you are while also being smart about how people actually live.
So Chipotle is creating its own global remix, blending its American DNA with Asian innovation. And really, that just leaves one final question for you to think about. What gaps are you ready to bridge? And what's the global remix you're ready to start?